8 applesauce brands parents should question, and 2 cleaner cups. At Culinary Cipher, we don't follow food marketing, we verify it. The truth is always on the label. Decode your plate. Applesauce is supposed to be the safest thing you hand a toddler. Mashed apples in a cup. That's the dream version. And the cleanest applesauce really is just that. Apples, maybe a little water or vitamin C. But the applesauce aisle hides 2 things every parent should know about. A lot of unnecessary added sugar, and a genuinely serious recall that put lead into cinnamon applesauce pouches and made hundreds of kids get sick. Here's what we're questioning. 1. Added sugar. Many applesauces add sugar or high-fructose corn syrup on top of fruit that's already naturally sweet, turning a fruit serving into a dessert. 2. The lead contamination issue. In late 2023, certain cinnamon applesauce pouches, sold under brands including WanaBana and store labels at Dollar Tree, Schnucks, and Weis, were recalled after testing found dangerously high lead levels traced to contaminated cinnamon, and hundreds of children's illnesses were reported. 3. Artificial sweeteners and additives in no sugar added and flavored versions. So parents, let's question 8 applesauce products, talk plainly about that recall, and finish with 2 cleaner cups. This one is worth your full attention because applesauce is a daily food for little kids. Let's get to decoding the labels. Number 1. Sweetened original applesauce. The standard sweetened tubs add sugar or corn syrup to fruit that doesn't need it. Apples are already sweet. Question whether your kid's snack is fruit or fruit plus dessert. Then compare the sugar line to the unsweetened version right beside it. The gap is often dramatic. Number 2. The recalled cinnamon applesauce pouches. This is a serious one. In the 2023 to 2024 recall, specific cinnamon-flavored apple pouches were pulled after contaminated cinnamon introduced high levels of lead, which is especially dangerous for young children's developing brains. The affected products were recalled and pulled from shelves, but parents should know the history. Check that any cinnamon pouch they own isn't an affected product, and be cautious with imported or off-brand cinnamon applesauce specifically. Number 3. Flavored applesauce, strawberry, cinnamon, berry blends. Flavored versions often add sugar, flavoring, and color on top of the apple base, and as the recall showed, added ingredients also added risk surface. Question flavored pouches more than plain ones, and favor recognizable brands with strong safety records for anything beyond plain apple. Number 4. No sugar added products with artificial sweeteners. Cutting sugar is good, but some no sugar added applesauces bring in sucralose or other sweeteners and added flavor. For little kids, plain unsweetened, sweet from the apples alone, is usually the better target than artificially sweetened. Question what's replacing the sugar. Number 5. Applesauce with high fructose corn syrup. Some budget tubs still use HFCS as the sweetener. There's no need for it in applesauce at all. Question and switch to unsweetened, which costs about the same. Number 6. Single-serve pouches generally, for habits, not safety panic. Pouches are convenient, but pediatric dentists and doctors note that constant sipping of any sweet puree from a pouch isn't ideal for teeth or for learning to eat textured food. Plain unsweetened pouches are fine in moderation. Question the all-day pouch habit more than the product itself. Number 7. Fruit blend pouches that are mostly cheap juice. Some apple and other fruit pouches stretch the expensive fruit with apple or pear juice concentrate, bumping the sugar. Question the ingredient order. If concentrate leads, it's sweeter and more processed than the picture suggests. Number 8. Off-brand, deep discount, and imported applesauce. The 2023 recall specifically involved budget and store-label cinnamon pouches with an imported contaminated ingredient. That doesn't mean all discount applesauce is unsafe, but for a food your toddler eats daily, questioning unfamiliar bargain brands, especially cinnamon ones, is reasonable caution. Stick to brands and retailers with clear accountability and recall transparency. Before we keep going, take a look at what we've learned. We didn't need scary headlines. We didn't need social media rumors. We simply read the label and looked at the facts. That's the mission of Culinary Cipher, helping families separate marketing from ingredients and facts from fear. One label, one grocery trip, one informed decision at a time, because the truth is always on the label. Decode your plate. Now let's talk about what parents should actually take away from the applesauce recall and what they shouldn't. The honest framing is, it cuts both ways. Plain unsweetened applesauce from a reputable brand is a great, safe snack for kids. Please don't let the recall scare you off applesauce entirely. The recall was about contaminated cinnamon in specific products, not apples, and those products were pulled. The two real, lasting takeaways for parents are simple. Choose unsweetened so it's fruit and not dessert, and be a little more careful with cinnamon-flavored and off-brand pouches, checking recall status when in doubt. That's measured caution, not fear. Quick tips. The ideal ingredient list is just apples, maybe water and vitamin C, ascorbic acid, to keep color. Unsweetened, on the front, is your friend. Skip added sugar and high-fructose corn syrup. Your kid won't miss it, because apples are already sweet. And for cinnamon or flavored versions, lean toward established brands and check that you're not buying a recalled product. Since the recall is the reason a lot of parents are paying attention to this category at all, it's worth understanding it calmly and accurately, because the right lesson is specific, not a blanket fear. In late 2023 and into 2024, certain cinnamon applesauce pouches were found to contain dangerously high levels of lead, traced to contaminated cinnamon used by a supplier. The affected products were recalled and pulled from shelves. The reason lead consumption matters so much for young children specifically is that their developing brains and nervous systems absorb it more readily than adults, and there is no level of lead exposure considered beneficial. So the appropriate response was exactly what happened. Identify the contaminated lots and remove them. What it does not mean is that applesauce as a food is risky, or that plain apple pouches from established makers are something to fear. The practical parent takeaway is narrow and useful. Whenever a food recall makes the news, check the exact product, lot number, and recall notice, not just the brand name. Beyond the recall, there are two things to note about applesauce that actually matter more for most kids day to day. The first is sugar and teeth. Even with no added sugar, applesauce is a soft, sweet, sticky food, and toddlers often eat it slowly or graze on a pouch over a long stretch, which keeps natural fruit sugars bathing their teeth. It's not a reason to avoid it. It's a reason to treat it as a snack with a beginning and an end, ideally followed by water, rather than a pouch that gets nursed across an entire afternoon. The second is the pouch format itself. Pouches are convenient, but sucking puree straight from a spout is a different oral experience than eating from a spoon, and pediatric dentists and feeding specialists generally suggest that pouches not become the default way a child eats. Squeeze it onto a spoon or into a bowl when you can. None of this is alarming. It's just the difference between applesauce as an occasional easy win and applesauce as a constant. The most genuinely cheapest, cleanest option is the one most people forget. You can make applesauce at home with literally one ingredient. Peel, core, and chop a few apples, simmer them with a splash of water until soft, and mash or blend to the texture you want. No added sugar, no preservatives, no recall to track, just apples. You can make a batch, portion it into small containers, and even freeze some. It costs less than the premium clean brands, takes about 20 minutes of mostly hands-off time, and puts you completely in control of what your kid is eating. 4 flavored versions, you stir in your own cinnamon from a source you trust. And now, here are 2 cleaner cups. First, unsweetened single-ingredient applesauce, store-brand unsweetened, Mott's unsweetened, and any tub or pouch whose only ingredient is apples, plus maybe water and vitamin C. This is the core win for parents. Same price as sweetened, half or less the sugar, nothing your toddler doesn't need. Read the label and confirm it says apples and stops. Second, organic unsweetened pouches and cups from established brands, like Go-Go Squeezy unsweetened and organic store lines. Organic doesn't automatically mean safer, but pairing organic with unsweetened and a reputable, recall-transparent brand gives you a clean, simple snack with accountability behind it. For flavored or cinnamon versions specifically, sticking to these well-known names is the cautious play. Here's your applesauce aisle rules. Choose unsweetened whenever possible. Look for an ingredient list that's mostly just apples. And if you're buying cinnamon-flavored applesauce, especially from an unfamiliar brand, take a moment to check whether there have been any recalls. Most importantly, don't let one contaminated product make you afraid of an entire category. Plain, unsweetened applesauce from a reputable brand remains a simple, nutritious snack for most families. Because informed choices are always better than fearful ones. At Culinary Cipher, we don't just read labels, we decode them. Every ingredient tells a story. The truth is always on the label. Decode your plate. Now go check the applesauce in your pantry or refrigerator. Is it unsweetened? How many ingredients are on the label? And if it's cinnamon flavored, is it from a brand you know and trust? Tell me in the comments. This is one where your check might genuinely matter for a little one.